Good evening, everybody. We'll get started. I'd like to welcome you all to our Stetson University fall commencement. I'd like to welcome our Stetson University College of Law friends, family, and graduates. I'm Ben Barrows. I'm the Dean and Professor of Law at Stetson University College of Law. I'm thrilled to have you join us for this special evening to congratulate our graduates on the incredible work that they have done at the College of Law. Class of 2024, you are part of a unique and unshakable cohort that have experienced more in your time in law school than most have had in their lifetime. You have persevered through a global pandemic, all while caring for your friends, family, and colleagues. You have weathered many shifts in the last few years. I didn't write that, just I emphasize it though. Weathered many shifts in the last few years and have remained resilient and excellent. We are so proud of you. Graduates, today we celebrate an important milestone in your journey as you begin your professional career in law. You are joining a profession that can make such an impact on the lives of so many and is a vital part of our communities. At Stetson Law, we are dedicated to instilling in our graduates a passion for serving our communities. You can help improve the world around you, and we know that you will. Tonight, we celebrate the skills you have honed and the ways in which we know you will give back to the world as Stetson lawyers. Tonight, we celebrate our graduates who are part of our Stetson family today and for a lifetime. Before we continue the formal part of our presentation, I would like to recognize a few of our special guests. Brittany Maxey Fisher, the president of the Stetson Law Alumni Association. The law school is very thankful for the outstanding work of our associate dean, Jason Palmer, the associate dean for academic affairs and professor of law. Daryl Wilson, our Associate Dean for Strategy, Operations, and Professor of Law. And Ann Mullins, our Associate Dean for Assessment and Professional Engagement and Professor of Law, who unfortunately couldn't be with us tonight. I would also like to recognize our faculty and staff in attendance who serve as teachers, mentors, and role models. They demonstrate the values of leadership and service, and they are an inspiration for all of us. I would now like to invite our president of the Stetson Law Alumni Association to the podium. Please join me in welcoming Brittany Maxey Fisher.
Thank you, Dean Barrows. Dear graduates, families, faculty, and staff, good evening to y'all. Dear graduates, take a moment to look around. Celebrate today as this is your day. A remarkable day that marks your dedication, determination, and countless hours of hard work. Today, you step forward from being law students to being a part of an extraordinary legal legacy. As the president of the Stetson Lawyers Alumni Association, SLAA, it is my great privilege to welcome you to Stetson's powerful and supportive network of over 11,000 alumni. Alumni who span the globe, trailblazers of the legal profession, who make a positive difference in their communities. The SLAA is a council that works for the advancement of the College of Law and promotes lifelong connections amongst its members. Here, you will find countless ways to stay engaged and continue to grow both personally and professionally through alumni events, mentorship opportunities, and professional development programs. You will continue to grow both professionally and personally with SLAA. Graduation is not a farewell, but a transition to a new life. The halls of this institution will always be here for you, and so will your fellow alumni. Dear graduates, your journey to this point has been nothing short of extraordinary. You have been challenged academically, and you have been groomed professionally. This has developed your resilience to thrive in the ever-evolving legal landscape. As you leave here today, I encourage you to embrace your new life and to start with full enthusiasm. Take it with full confidence and purpose. Carry the lessons you learned within these walls, the friendships you've forged, and the memories you've made as a foundation for your success. As Nelson Mandela said, there is no passion to be found in playing small and settling for a life that is less than the one you are capable of living. So this is your time. Play big, challenge the norms, and advocate for justice with the passion and conviction that brought you to law school in the first place. The world needs you. We need your leadership, your integrity, and your determination. Dear graduates, Stetson University College of Law embodies these things. Whether you step into a courtroom, a boardroom, or a role in public service, you have the skills to make a profound impact on people's lives. So I urge you, dream boldly, act with courage, and never, ever underestimate the value of the Stetson name that now stands beside yours. You are the future of this profession, the future advocates, the future problem solvers, and the future change makers. It is my distinct honor to be among the first to congratulate y'all and welcome you to the SLAA. Remember, we are here for you. We're always ready to support you as you take your next steps in this noteworthy profession. Dear graduates, the door to the future is wide open. Walk through it with confidence, knowing you're prepared for the challenges and triumphs that lie ahead. May your journey be filled with success, achievements, and a lifetime of proud connections to the Stetson community. Congratulations, class of 2024.
Thank you so much, Brittany. Now we are going to hear from a special greeting from Fall 2024 Juris Doctor candidate Dominique Alfred Raymond. Come on up, Dominique.
Thank you, Dean Barrows. I promised that I would keep this speech under 6 minutes. If any of you know me, you know that'll be harder than any law school exam I've ever taken. But I must do my best. So, good evening, faculty, family, friends, and my fellow graduates. Today is a day that we've dreamed of, worked tirelessly for, and for many of us doubted that we would ever reach. It's very surreal to stand here, draped in the culmination of countless late nights, early mornings, and an immeasurable amount of caffeine. Yet, as I look around this room filled with my peers, I see not just graduates, but future lawyers who have overcome adversity, embraced growth, and answered the call to serve. Each of us have faced our own challenges on this journey, whether it has been mastering the rule against perpetuities, which I never did, surviving cold calls, or grappling with the weight of self-doubt. The path through law school was never smooth. Many of us juggled full-time jobs, family responsibilities, or personal struggles along the way. I think I speak for all of us when I say there were moments when the finish line felt impossibly far away. Each late night at the Tampa Center, long drives from Gulfport, impossible schedules, or days when it felt like this journey would never end helped us become who we are today. But here we are, a testament to resilience, grit, and the refusal to give up. Because of that resilience, we survived every 4-hour late night class, every final, every grueling year-round semester, but most importantly, we survived Dr. K's torts and remedies classes. We did. One of my favorite poems read, "Did you hear about the rose that grew from the crack in the concrete, proving that nature's law is wrong? It learned to walk without having feet. Funny it seems, but by keeping its dreams, it learned to breathe fresh air. Long live the rose that grew from the concrete when no one else cared." Tupac Shakur. We are those roses that have defied the odds against us and pushed toward a destiny that only we could feel and see and dream. We are the change makers that put our heads down and face the challenges with the type of determination that only comes from knowing that success is measured, not test by test, by second. Success is not always forward. Sometimes there are mountains, there are hills, there are valleys, there are breaks. And yet here we are, some of us with a little more thorns than we started with, but blooming nonetheless. This experience didn't just teach us the law or how to think like lawyers, it transformed us. It taught us that we are stronger than we think and that growth comes from discomfort. We are proof that success isn't measured solely by grades or accolades, but by perseverance and unshakable integrity. We are not leaving this chapter the same as we entered it. We've grown into critical thinkers who can dissect complex issues, advocates who understand the power of words, and individuals that know the value of justice. But most importantly, we've learned that the privilege of studying law comes with an even greater responsibility to serve. As future practitioners, we are called to be more than just conveyors of legal knowledge, but we are champions. Champions for the voiceless, protectors of the vulnerable, and stewards of fairness in a world that so desperately needs us today. Whether we choose to serve in the courtroom or the boardroom or the community, our commitment to justice will be our guiding principle. We, as Stetson lawyers, are the advocates for truth and justice in our Constitution. Our profession is not an easy one, and the road ahead will have challenges. But we've already proven that we can withstand the pressure and rise to the occasion and lead with purpose, a purpose that is so divine that it propelled us to this very moment, despite everything that we've experienced to get here. So remember to serve your divine purpose. You must also advocate for your well-being. As we leave here today, let us remember why we started. Let us carry forward the lessons we've learned and the friendships that we've built and the dreams that have brought us to this moment. Together, we have the power to make a difference, not just in the lives of our future clients, but in the broader pursuit of justice. Let us continue to answer the call, break barriers, and grow gardens and hope in the resilience through the concrete cracks of injustice. So congratulations for all of class of 22. May we go forward, not just as lawyers, but as change makers. The world is waiting for us. Thank you.
Since Dominique asked, the rule against perpetuity states that, no, I'll save that for another time. This is the part of the program where we proudly recognize our graduates. Graduates, please remain seated until a Stetson Law staff member instructs the first person in your row to stand. Looks like we're already getting organized. Then exit your row to the left and line up in the order in which you are seated. After your name is called, please step in front to pose for a photo. I would like to now introduce Associate Dean for Academic Affairs, Jason Palmer, to call each graduate's name. Dean Palmer.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome. We're very excited to have everyone here, and we're very excited to congratulate the class of 2024. It's my pleasure to present to you now the fall 2024 degree candidates for the Masters of Laws in Advocacy. Nicola M. Bajalia in absentia. Martin L. Blank in absentia. The Masters of Laws in Elder Law, candidate Julian McCammon in absentia. And our Masters of Jurisprudence in Healthcare Compliance, Matthew Evans in absentia. Now, it's my pleasure to present the fall 2024 Juris Doctor degree candidates. Dominique and Alfred Raymond. Brian Edward Beatty. Jonathan R. Bell. Caitlin M. Connolly. Latanya D. Conrad. Janelle E. Dresden. Casey Ray Friedlander. Leela J. Gray. Walter Vernon Gray IV, in absentia. Jan R. Ingram. Jelixon Jean Simon. Dr. Ashira Johnson. Hunter Latour. Elizabeth Emily McDowell Carpinone, in absentia. Austin Merlin Byers. Julian J. Ortega, in absentia. Carson Giles Petty. Danielle Marie Quinn. Jessica A. Stevens. And our final candidate, Kelsey Tomlinson, in absentia. Glasses back out.
Congratulations, graduates, on your outstanding accomplishments. In just a moment, I will call up Dr. Timothy Kay, who was selected by the 2024 fall graduates to deliver the faculty address. Dr. Kay obtained his LLB from the University of Sheffield and his PhD from the University of Warwick, both in the United Kingdom. Before joining Stetson Law, he served as a consultant with one of the largest educational law practices in the United Kingdom, where he advised numerous schools, colleges, and universities. He also taught in the law school at Vytautas Magnus University in, I should have asked you this, Dr. Kay, Kaunas, Lithuania, and at the University of Birmingham in the United Kingdom. Dr. Kay joined Stetson University College of Law in 2006 and teaches torts, products liability, advanced torts remedies, jurisprudence, and law, and the web. He is the author of several books. He created and edited the very first web festschrift to be dedicated to an American law professor, and he launched webbybooks.com, which publishes law books as websites. Among his many contributions to the university during his tenure, Dr. Kay designed and co-founded the Stetson Journal of Advocacy in the Law, the first online law review designed to be read online. An experienced designer and programmer of web-based applications, Dr. Kay built Stetson University's Pollard IRB system, which handles the review of the ethical implications of research proposals on human subjects, as well as its IACUC equivalent for animal research. Together with Professor Ashley Chase, Dr. Kay received the 2024 Award for Innovations in Technology from the Association of American Law Libraries for TriFile, a web application that simulates the federal court's document filing system. Professor Kay.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you, Dean, for that introduction. Congratulations, graduates. If I had a different accent, I might be tempted to say y'all, but I don't think it'll work. I was previously asked to give the graduation speech back in December 2021, so I thought I'd done my duty in that regard, but apparently Dominique wanted revenge. 3 years ago, I advocated strongly that everyone, but especially lawyers, should adopt a skeptical mindset. Not cynicism, mind you, nor mindless contradiction, but skepticism. I think it's even more important today. While I'm not going to rehash that message today, I am going to develop one of the themes that I think flows from that. It's the need to pay attention to authenticity. We hear a lot about the need for authenticity today, but most of what is said about authenticity is authentically nonsense. You've all been told, for example, that when you engage in legal writing, you need to find your own voice, which on the face of it sounds like being encouraged to be authentic. Yet for every time such a statement is uttered, you will have experienced at least 10 more statements telling you, for example, that you can't use passive voice, that you can't use contradictions. See what I did there? You need a footnote at the end of every sentence and 3 on Sundays. That's the Hail Mary footnote rule. And an individual must be referred to with a singular pronoun, even though we don't know who they are. And there are many other weird and not so wonderful rules that bear no relation to the way that English is actually used. Someone just made them up about 90 years ago, and others have just been parroting this nonsense without really thinking it through. So clearly, many of those in the legal writing establishment don't value authenticity at all. Instead, they authentically value conformity. I take the example of legal writing because it's easy to identify just how little some people really value authenticity. But sadly, it's not the only space within the legal establishment and the legal community where conformity is valued much more highly than authenticity. And so, if I were now to urge you all to be your authentic selves as you embark on your legal career, you could justifiably retort that, if not exactly career suicide, doing so would certainly marginalise you and restrict your opportunities. Unfortunately, I agree. Especially at the beginning of your careers, you have to play within the rules of the game. That's why all those commentators advocating that people should be their authentic selves are, as I said before, just talking authentic nonsense. But here's the conundrum. If all you ever do is conform, you'll never be better than who and what has gone before. You will also never be better than your peers or your competitors. Instead, you'll all be much of a muchness. 30 years ago, back in the UK, I directed a project that investigated what we conclusively proved to be a corrupt, supposedly elite squad of police detectives. The project was funded by money raised by a Member of Parliament who had received many letters of complaint about this squad. The Member of Parliament had the reputation of being prepared to stand up to powerful interests. So I asked her whether she'd ever considered keeping her head down and living a quieter, less stressful life. Her reply was simple. Those who keep their heads down find that their neck muscles wither. In other words, if you get into a habit of conforming, all you'll ever do is conform. You'll never be your authentic self because after a while you won't even know what that is. So I don't want you to neglect or spurn authenticity. I just don't want you to pay attention to the self-styled gurus telling you to pursue it. I want to urge you instead to take a different approach. But before I go any further, I think it's worth taking a moment to define authenticity. So I asked AI. It said, authenticity goes beyond mere honesty. It encompasses consistency between one's words and actions, transparency in decision-making processes, and a genuine commitment to one's stated values and principles. So bearing that definition in mind, I want you to pay attention to who around you is being authentic. And when someone shows you who they are, believe them. I watched a bit of a football game a week or so ago. I say football, but only 4 feet ever get to touch the ball in each game. I'll give you a moment to count them if you like. So its very name seems highly inauthentic. I think a more appropriate name would be cuddle ball, because that's what everyone seems to want to do with it. Apparently, everyone apart from the quarterback is so in love with the ball that none of them can bear to part with it. By comparison, the quarterback is a bit of a sociopath, trying to dispatch it as often and as far as possible. But I digress. In this game, I saw Jameis Winston, formerly of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, throwing the ball with gay abandon. Sometimes he threw it to a teammate. Sometimes he threw it to someone on the other team. The latter seemed to surprise him. "That's not who I am," he said later. "Lord, deliver me from pick sixes." Now, I don't claim to have a hotline to God, but I'm fairly sure that of all the requests he must receive daily, delivering someone from pick sixes is probably quite low on the list of priorities. But Jameis Winston's habit of throwing the ball to the other team didn't seem to surprise anyone apart from himself. After all, his propensity from doing just that is what cost him the quarterback position in Tampa Bay. The point is that, contrary to his apparent self-delusion, a quarterback who regularly throws pick sixes is authentically the sort of cuddle ball player that Jameis Winston really is. On a similar note, Taylor Swift has just wrapped up her multi-billion-dollar tour. She played in huge venues all over the world, entertaining millions, and yet she's hardly sung an audible note live in a single show. Let that sink in. She has hardly sung an audible note live in a single show. Most of the time, as Dave Grohl of the Foo Fighters has pointed out, she's effectively been lip-syncing to a backing track that actually contains pitch-corrected lead vocals. By pitch-corrected, I mean that studio engineers have taken a recording and digitally manipulated many of the notes so that they sound better than when she originally sang them out of tune in the studio. She might use a live mic so that it looks more natural, but the mic is turned down so low in the mix that you can't actually hear her voice. And when she does apparently sing live, as on a few apparently stripped-down ballads, her voice is auto-tuned, so that what the audience hears is not actually her voice, but a computer's rendition with all the notes snapped to standard tuning at 440 hertz standard equal temperament. How does her management justify this? She's performing live. Note, not singing live, performing live, as in she's physically present and moving around the stage. But it's not just Taylor Swift. Celine Dion at the Paris Olympics and subsequent shows is another. And the same performing live justification has been trotted out there too. Don Henley of Eagles fame is another, and practically every artist who features in the Billboard Hot 100. If you think Teddy Swims, for example, has a great voice, it's possible you might be right, but you've almost certainly never actually heard it. Indeed, record labels and YouTube channels that claim that the voice you hear is authentically that of the featured artist routinely lie. It's nearly always been digitally manipulated. Perhaps the only 21st century artist whom I could name now, and whom you'll all have heard of, and who never uses either auto-tune or pitch correction, is Adele. Swifties, and indeed fans of other artists, might now be reacting in several ways. Some will be in denial. You need help. Seriously, and I'm here to provide it. Others will want to justify the pitch correction and auto-tuning. Taylor's show is very long, they'll say, and she's dancing and moving about for much of it. She's never going to have the breath to be able to sing live. Celine has had major health issues. It's a minor miracle that she's on stage at all. Don Henley is getting old. He just can't sing like he could 20 years ago, even if the vocals he lip-syncs to were actually recorded 20 years ago. On the other hand, Kate Bush and Peter Gabriel, decades ago, performed shows just as athletically demanding as any that Taylor Swift does now, and they always sang live. So do Broadway performers, and they do 6 performances a week. Pink does actual gymnastics in her shows, and she still sings live as she's doing a twisting somersault. Jeff Lynne of ELO and Travelling Wilburys fame, who at 77 is the same age as Don Henley, still sings live in every show and sounds fantastic, by the way. The point is that whether to use pitch correction and auto-tune or not is a choice. When that choice is made, we learn a lot about which values the person making that choice holds dear. They are telling you about their authentic selves. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. Now, some of you might be thinking that in the very divided nation that is the United States right now, it's a bit odd for a graduation speaker to spend the time talking about Jameis Winston, pitch correction and auto-tune. I should instead be giving you nuggets of wisdom for when you have to deal with politicians and lawyers who pardon their own sons, or who promise to be tough on felons when they themselves have 34 felony convictions. Well, actually, that's what I have been doing. It's called metaphor. Haven't you heard of AI? If you think it's okay for singers to rely on computers to do their work for them, then surely it's okay for AI to do the work for lawyers. After all, lawyers are busy people, and they can't be expected to draft documents or write judgments themselves. Some lawyers are getting old. Not you, obviously, but some are getting old. They can't be expected to write like they used to. Some have health problems. It's a minor miracle they're here at all. Surely you don't expect them to do their own work. Oh, you do. Remember what I said earlier about authenticity. It encompasses consistency between one's words and actions. If you think it's fine for one type of professional to lie about what they do, how can you say it's not acceptable for other types of professionals to lie about what they do? And remember, too, that if you claim there's a difference, you're showing everyone else who you authentically are and will believe you. So here's the biggest lesson of all. The hardest thing is to see who someone authentically is when you like them or want to like them. Those of you who didn't like me calling out Taylor Swift or any of the other pitch-corrected talentless wannabes whose noise has been fraudulently transformed into something vaguely musical can't actually prove me wrong, because I'm not wrong. You just didn't like me criticising someone you like. But if you aren't prepared to see who your favourites authentically are, you have no business being in the law. Law is about holding people to account. I talked earlier about having to play within the rules of the game. Well, holding people to account is precisely what the rules of the legal game demand. If instead you're just going to give free passes to anyone you like, then the law has no purpose and no role to play. So, whether the lawyer, politician, speaker, writer, singer, or cuddleball player is on the other team or your own, assess their authentic selves. And when they show you who they are, believe them. Thank you.
So just a quick note to our web team. If this is going up on the internet, can you edit out that Taylor Swift stuff so that the Swifties don't come after Professor K? We want to maintain his good health and internet reputation. Thank you, Dr. K. Before we close, I want to make sure to recognize several groups that contribute in a special way to our success as an institution and to your success as Stetson Law graduates. The first group is our faculty. Please join me in thanking them for their commitment to legal education and the legal profession. I would like to thank our alumni who serve Stetson Law as award-winning competition team coaches, judges, and exceptional mentors and financial supporters for the College of Law. Please join me in thanking them. And I thank our staff and administrative team whose work is incredibly important to our success and sometimes isn't always as visible as others. Please join me in thanking our administrators and staff. Graduates, this day is about you. To see our students develop from first-year law students to seasoned legal minds and soon-to-be attorneys is our pride and joy. Families, supporters, and friends, you were there when our students needed you most. Graduates, Stetson is a community dedicated to excellence. Stetson University College of Law was founded in 1900. We know that you will follow more than a century of tradition as lawyers and leaders who are committed to the rule of law, who transform society, and who represent the values of your law school, your university, and profession. Today we celebrate you, and from today forward we are proud to call you graduates and alumni of the Stetson University College of Law. Graduates, please stand one more time as we acknowledge the class of 2024. And graduates, I would love for you to stay standing. Could you please turn and give a round of applause to everybody here who supported you in the last 3 or 4 years. All right, thank you guys. You can be seated. Thank you everyone for participating in this important evening in the lives of our graduates. We'd like to ask everyone to join us across the hall in the Mann Lounge immediately following the close of this ceremony for dessert reception. We hope to see you there. Good night. Congratulations again.